Greetings, Mega Man fans, and welcome back to Let's Analyze Mega Man Dr. Wily's Final Attack. For those of you that are following this for the analysis more so than the playthrough, I'd recommend you to check back at the other two videos I've already posted. I went back through them and noticed a few things that I didn't notice the first go around, and I added annotations mentioning them. So, for those of you who are interested in that, take a look. But the rest of you, well, for all of you anyway, in this episode, we're going to take a dive into Coppice Man's forest base. To explain quickly what a coppice is, a coppice is a thicket or grove of small trees / shrubs, especially one maintained periodic cutting or pruning. Given the shrub on his head, I can see why he would be named that. Anyway, this jungle stronghold has Snake Man's theme. Not a bad choice. I like the MIDI instrumentation here. Speaking of snakes, die. That thing's been a problem for me in the past few runs. Those are sleepy snakes. When they first appear on screen, they're asleep for like a second or two, and then they will flip out and charge you, jumping every so often, and they will turn around without needing a wall. They can be kinda dangerous. And that was an Atom Owl. Those things will dive bomb you once they appear on screen. Essentially, expect a lot of reflexes in this stage. Enemies are going to be testing them a bunch. And for that matter, expect camouflage. You'll need to be paying attention here. So don't be surprised if it go a little quieter than normal. And here we have water. Pretty self-explanatory. Fish and Joe, on the other hand, well, actually he's still pretty self-explanatory. Fish and Joe swims forward on his boat, throwing fish at you in a honestly rather erratic pattern. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. Don't really appreciate it when the enemy is unpredictable like that. But, fortunately, you can just kill the fish. In this one, if you happen to make it all the way safely, you can get a 1-up out of the deal. And then get face planted by a Fish and Joe because life hates you. Or at least it hates me. Anyway, I saw that. Your killer shrubberies will not fool me! That was a Camomet. It walks forward, and it will shoot at you. And these flowers, are Bakubanas. They're pretty self-explanatory. And that was a shooting spine that just ran into me. And that's a chibi hive. Oh gosh, we don't need more of those chibi things. They were bad enough in Mega Man 3. And that ladder there, that's a detour. I'll get back to it. And here we have a vine. And Camomet's shooting ability is demonstrated. You expect this level to get a lot of mileage out of that little guy. As well as this vine, which reminds me a lot of Forest Man's gimmick. Only a lot more NES styled, with a more controlled jump to it. You know, these Bakubana enemies really remind me of Panzers from Super Mario Bros. 2. They have not only the design, they kinda have the fighting style, really. Oh well, not a bad thing. Panzer was a pretty neat enemy. And that down there is Spear Joe. I really don't think he's much of a Joe. Ah, that was dumb. As you notice, when Spear Joe dies, it leaves behind his head, which is actually a Camomet. You thought it was a Joe, but really it was a Met. Like I said, camouflage. Expect a lot of that. Also expect a lot of me derping, because I seem to be doing that lately. Okay. This part. I've died here before. not do that again. Ah, gosh, I nearly missed those owls there. That part's kind of nerve-wracking. And right here we have Spear Totem. I'm surprised he's not in the Spearman stage, but whatever. Once it starts spinning like that, be ready for it to shoot its spears. It's a pretty simple enemy, honestly. That health right there, well, as any genre-savvy gamer knows, can only mean one thing. Mid-boss, meet Beezor. He's a bit annoying. He's harder than Katageki, but not by a whole lot. And, oh gosh, the room is flooding. Joy. And surfboards. They explode when they hit walls. Pretty simple gimmick. This game really likes its moving platforms. Of course, combined with spikes, because what's a Mega Man game without spikes, am I right? And owls. Lots and lots of owls. Stage likes those things. And springs. They're springs. Plantman Gimmick Ho! I almost forgot about the Chibi Hive here. Let's not get swarmed by bees. And let's also kill these snakes down here so they don't become a problem in case I miss that jump. We're being smart and planning things, we are. Oh, that was way too freaking close for comfort. And back to springs. Ooh, extra life. Pity I don't need it. And see, told you the camo mats are gonna get a lot of mileage in this level. Okay, I need to time this right. Yay, timing it right. Oh gosh, this room. This room is probably one of the hardest ones to escape from completely out unscathed. Case in point, that Chibi Hive is in a very bad spot. I'm sure it's doable, but I've not yet pulled it off. It's probably the hardest part of the level right here if you're going for a no damage run. This, on the other hand, not so much. That snake is fairly easily dispatched, and now we need to understand that holding the jump button on these springs will catapult us high into the air. And that's probably the best I've handled this section yet. Kinda like the fact that Spear Joe is placed in just the right spot that you can reflect shots off of it and kill the camo med up here. That's pretty neat. I like how you took such a simple gimmick, such a simple tradition of Mega Man, and turned it into something viable. Turned it into a tactic. That's pretty neat. More fan games should do that as an intentional feature. And Spear Totems on springs! It's actually kind of interesting, this. Of course, not much harder to dispatch than the first one was. This one, on the other hand, actually isn't that much worse either. But this does allow for some interesting difficulty curves. Oh, this close, almost jumped right into its range. Pay attention, Mick, pay attention. Like, that's what this stage is about, is paying attention. Yay. Not dealing with those, thank you. And that's the stage. A lot harder than Spearman's stage, but oh my word, it's actually pretty fun. Keeps you on your toes, and, well, I can appreciate that. It's one of the harder stages in the game, I find. And Coppice Man he's not an easy boss, having a lot more randomization to his pattern than the others. But he still has some rhyme to him, as I shall hopefully demonstrate. That was not demonstrating it. Oh gosh, I fudged up the rhythm, and now he's kicking my behind. If you mess up, Coppice Man can annihilate you. Okay. See if I can explain how this guy works. First of all, that vine of his, he has a chance of using every time he attacks. If he chooses to use it, he runs forward a short distance, and then he'll use it. His other attack, the Hawkseeker, he only uses if he rebounds off of a wall. As you can see, whenever he uses the vine, he will turn towards your direction. This means it's a specific strategy that you'd want to use in order to manipulate him and make him more doable. I have beaten him no damage. Whether I pull that off on camera will be another story entirely. He's a lot harder than Spearman was, I can tell you that. Anyway. Going to go a little quiet now, because I need to keep the rhythm. Ah, so close! Messed it up right at the end. But, as you can see, he's doable in a perfect run. And in fact, it's probably easier to beat than some of the other bosses in the game, despite having a more randomized fighting style. And our reward for beating him is the Hawkseeker, which, well, as you are about to find, it is a pretty solid weapon. And the Hawkseeker is... it's a homing weapon. It's also a bird. Tweet tweet. It makes a point... it can go after multiple enemies, which can make it very nice. As you can see, as you saw, it murdered most everything in the room. If the enemy has less health than it has damage, and Hawkseeker will tear through it like a hot knife through butter. It's very, very, very fast. Its homing ability is impeccable. I'm actually not sure if it can miss, or at least I haven't experienced it. And it has an ammo of 28. This makes Hawkseeker a very good weapon, particularly for fighting weaker enemies. Anyway, on that note, I think I've been at this long enough. In the next round, we are going to go into one of my favorite stages. And anyone who's aware of some of the other games I work on can probably take a guess as to what that stage might be. And until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my analysis, and I shall see you next time. Till then, goodbye!